What's going on, guys? Welcome back to yet another video here on the channel, and today we're going to talk about something kind of creepy. And by that I mean, it's something I'd say pretty important because, well, you know, there's been this trend kind of going on online where people have been downloading this app called FaceApp. Now basically what this app is it's an app that kind of changes your face depending on what you want it to do, and it primarily is used to make people look older, and people have been using it to see what they'll look like when they get, I don't know, 40 or 50 years older. This has been a pretty viral trend over the last few days, and, you know, celebrities have been doing it, regular people have been doing it, you know, millions have been doing it all across the world. Now, thankfully, I was not one of the people who took place in this trend because, unfortunately, a news article from Forbes has come out that has detailed a very scary fact about this whole thing. I think this is pretty eye-opening. It's something that I want to talk about to kind of give you guys some perspective to make you realize what a lot of these apps and social media websites are doing, and, you know, to just kind of let you know what a lot of these terms of service really have inside of them. You know, what you're giving these people permission to do, you know, possibly with your data, with photos of you, with all this different stuff that belongs to you. Because let's be honest, most people really don't read the terms of service. I don't think anyone really does. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't. I sign up for new services all the time. If I sat down and I read through the terms of service of everything that I'm signing up for, you know, 2 to 3 new sites or something a day, I would be reading for like 5 hours a day. And it's not really possible for most people to do. And the unfortunate truth is a lot of these websites get off on that fact, and they hide a lot of this stuff within that fact, and they know that you're not going to read it, and that's how they really get you on a lot of this stuff. Well, anyways, this FaceApp has gotten 150 million people because this viral app now owns the access to more than 150 million people's faces and names. Now, what I mean by access, they basically own a royalty-free license to use these things, okay? Now, let me break this down for you. When people use this app, pretty much like any other app, they input, you know, pictures of themselves, maybe even their names. They, of course, will input a username or something to use the app. Most of the time, people will, of course, use the same username across the board. I also do this. Usually it's my username, you know, Optimus or Sub to Optimus, HD Optimus, something like that. I feel like that's pretty typical for most people. You know, you don't want to have like 90 different usernames. That gets pretty hard to remember. This app has been running for several years, so over time it has, of course, built up, you know, a good stockpile of different accounts. But recently it's really popped off because I don't know if this is a new feature or if people are just now realizing this feature. But there's this old people feature that basically allows you to look older. Well, the unfortunate truth is with that, you have now granted FaceApp, apparently, here, I'll actually read you a quote or an excerpt from their terms of service. Quote, "You grant FaceApp a perpetual, irrevocable, non-exclusive, royalty-free, worldwide, fully paid, transferable, sub-licensable license to use, reproduce, modify, adapt, publish, translate, create derivative works from, distribute, publicly perform and display your content and any name, username, or likeness provided in connection with your user content and any name, username, or likeness provided in connection with your user content in all media formats and channels now known or later developed without compensation to you. When you post or otherwise share user content on or through our services, you understand that your user content and any associated information, such as your username, location, or profile photo, will be visible to the public." Now let me break this down for you because obviously this is not in layman's terms. Now basically, you have granted FaceApp the right to profit off of your information. Your username, your name, they can basically use this however they like. They can go make a billboard with your face on it, with your username on it, whatever they want. They can make an advertisement for their app with your face, with your name on it, and put it on television. They can do any of that. And at the same time, they do not have to pay you because you agreed to these terms of use when you signed up for the app and you hit I agree to the terms of use. You agreed to this. Royalty-free means that they will not be paying you royalties for any of this without compensation to you. So basically speaking, whenever you post any picture of yourself or whatever on this app, they can take that and do whatever they want with it. And they can make money off of that if they choose to. It's pretty much too late. you've already agreed to these terms of use. Unfortunately, you've already displayed your user content, and yeah, they've pretty much already got you on that one. Now, something to note here, you still own your user content. I mean, you own your face. They don't own your face with this, terms of service. But they do own that royalty-free license to do whatever they want with a picture of your face that you've uploaded. So of course, yeah, you own your face and you own your name or whatever, but they can just go, print out 1 million pictures of it on flyers and post it wherever they want and make all the money in the world off that. I think that that's pretty creepy, and I think that that's something that pretty much everyone using this app definitely does not know. Because like I said, most people just don't read through these terms of service. That's a fact of life. Now here's the real problem with that, and this is what we've learned in the past, and this is a good example brought up by Forbes in the article, okay? Facebook is a great example of this, unfortunately. When apps like this collect your data, unfortunately, they don't always use it in the way that they state or in the way that they should be using it. I mean, we assume that they're going to use it responsibly and in a lawful manner, but that's not always the way that they do it. They don't always do it in a secure way. They don't always do it in a private way. I mean, once you basically hand that content over, once you upload that, I mean, you have lost full control. It's in the hands of somebody else now. It's basically in the hands of people you don't know. It's in the hands of this company that can basically use it to profit. And those are kind of things, unfortunately, that you have to think about, and that's a problem. And of course, it's a good reason to wonder why these things want access, like when they want access to your camera roll or when they want access to something in your phone. Think about that for a minute. Why does this need access to this specific area of my phone? Now, the thing about FaceApp, okay, is you have to give it permission to access the photos. Now, you can't give it permission to access just one photo. It has to have access to the whole camera roll. So, if you have 8,000 pictures in there, it's got access to all 8,000. That doesn't necessarily mean that they've gained that royalty-free right to all 8,000 pictures as far as I understand, because you haven't made it user content on their platform. However, it also gains access to things like Siri and the search feature on your phone. It also gets access to refreshing in the background. So even if you're not using that app, it still has access to other parts of your phone. But I mean, just take a look at the whole Cambridge Analytica scandal with Facebook. If you're unfamiliar with what the whole Cambridge Analytica and Facebook scandal thing was, basically in early 2018, it came out that this company called Cambridge Analytica had been harvesting the personal data of all these Facebook profiles without these people's consent, and they were using it for political advertising purposes. This was illicit harvesting of personal data by Cambridge Analytica. It was first reported in December of 2015 by Harry Davies, who is a journalist for The Guardian. He had reported that they were working for United States Senator Ted Cruz using data harvested from millions of Facebook accounts without their consent, but Facebook refused to comment on the story, but they said they were investigating. Of course, the very generic statement from the company. But in March of 2018, an employee by the name of Christopher Wiley came out, and he had been an anonymous source, and he came through and basically blew the whole thing up. To give some perspective, the amount of people affected by this data was 87 million users. 70.6 million of them were from the United States alone. Use of this data included trying to influence public opinion on things like the 2015 and 2016 campaigns of United States politicians Donald Trump and Ted Cruz, the 2016 Brexit vote, the 2018 Mexican general election for the Institutional Revolutionary Party. It even resulted in Mark Zuckerberg testifying in front of Congress.
Was your data included in the data sold to the malicious third parties?
Yes.
It was. Now, are you willing to change your business model in the interest of protecting individual privacy?
Congresswoman, I'm not sure what that means.
And it also resulted in over $100 billion being knocked off of Facebook's share price. You can't put too much trust into these companies, and unfortunately, a lot of people do. When you get these notifications up, hey, they want access to your camera roll, unfortunately, they don't tell you what other access they get to your phone. And unfortunately, you don't look through the terms of service, but you look at situations like this where they have access to basically print free money from the pictures of 150 million users, and it's mind-boggling almost. I for one think it's creepy, and I think you should probably think that that's kind of creepy too. That a stranger might never know if they end up on a billboard in some random city, or that they end up in a television ad on the other side of the world for some FaceApp on the internet, you know? These technology companies, they don't do things by the book. They don't store your data securely enough. They don't play by the rules. Everybody needs to be more careful. Everybody needs to pay more attention. Everybody needs to hold these companies more accountable. And everybody, I think, should try and realize what's going on here. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on my channel, follow me over on Twitter at @SubToOptimus. I post memes, thoughts, and updates over there. It's a surefire way to get notifications of all my newest content. Join the Discord down below as well. Thank you to my channel members for your $5 a month. Your support helps my channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, basically getting, I guess, all my data sold all over the internet, and signing out.